Hello. Okay, let's do this. All right. Hello, Lyric Armstrong, a real estate agent and advocate. It has been a million years, right? I missed you so much. I hope that you have had a great and phenomenal holiday. And I hope you have missed me just a little bit as I have missed you. Today, we are going to check into Judge Middleton's court, and we're going to look at some of his landlord tenancy just to kind of get back into the groove of things. And welcome and hi. I have not seen an update on Dee Warner's court for probate, which is not abnormal because court is not instantaneous. If you've ever known, it takes a lot of time. So consequently, this is why I completely advocate for you having a trust and a will, not just a will, especially nothing, but you need to have a trust and a will so you can avoid probate. And remember, avoiding probate means all things that are considered asset are within the trust and the will. They are not lingering outside of them. You have to make sure that they're all accounted for within the trust. So anyway, don't know what's going on with Dean Warner's court, but we will find out some very interesting things through Judge Middleton. You know, he's our friend, like he's our bestie. We love you, Judge Middleton, always. So let's go in and check him out. This is May 24th, 2024. So a couple days ago, Judge Middleton's court. Let's see what's happening here. I need to turn him up. And sometimes I need to speed him up just because he welcomes everyone. Hi, Judge Middleton. We are here, ready for court. We don't know where the litigants are, but we are here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Looks like another judge coming to say hi.
Got a bench warrant arraignment to take care of. I'm gonna fit in the middle of this.
A bench warrant. Oh, okay.
I'll catch up with you in a little bit.
For payments. All right. So another judge came to say hello. He's like, oh, you're already live. I'm out of here. He doesn't want to stay.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, the 24th of May.
Good morning, Judge Middleton.
3B District Court. It is going to be a beautiful day, probably the nicest day of the Memorial Day weekend. Here in America, it is Memorial Day, and we get Monday off. That's sort of the official start of summer.
Yay.
And I'm going to try to do some fun things today.
I love how he's understanding that not everyone is from America. So he's like, listen, in America, this is our celebratory weekend.
After work.
And thank you to everyone for your service.
Well, good morning, right here in Centerville.
That is in the armed forces. Okay.
Volcano. What's the song? I think it sort of popped in my head. Okay. I've already got 3 people in the waiting room.
Okay.
We've got a lot to do. So thank you all for saying hello.
Hello.
Wherever you are, hope you have a good day and a good weekend and beautiful day. Great to be alive. Well,
I agree. I wish the same for
actually
everyone.
went to University of New South Wales for a while.
Oh, South Wales. We learn more about Judge Middleton every year. Every good morning. There's something.
Let's see who's in the waiting room.
Let's see.
Everybody but Mr. Fleeman.
Everybody but Mr. Flynn. Uh-oh. There he is. Mr. Farrell. And Mr. Alex. Okay, so we got people. Do they get representation? Is legal aid on staff today? Who's who? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Not the right proper form for that one, but just for real. So we got a Zoom.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, can you hear me?
For now, I'm
Yes.
And Mr. Rosario, can you hear me?
Rosario. Oh, he cannot hear. Tech difficulties.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Freeman. We did an early start for you today. And Miss Moreno is here with us also.
A lot of people.
Um,
Morning.
Good morning. Mr. Rosario, can you hear me?
Who's who? Okay, someone let Rosario know.
Mr. Rosario, can you hear me?
Oh, now I can. Sorry, Your Honor, I was having difficulty navigating my phone here.
Okay, well, very good. Let's get right to it. Let me turn the record on.
That is so real. I still have like 5,000 Zoom calls. And if you don't, especially on your phone, if you don't connect via Wi-Fi, or if you mess around and connect via dial for the sound, you won't hear anything until you dial in. So I appreciate that. He's like, I didn't know I was just on here. Poor thing.
This is a continued case from last week.
Okay.
It's entitled, Guess What versus Jose Rosario. He's using a family member's phone here today. We made a determination that through May, the rent was $3,648 if we had costs of $198.14 in. The manager, Josie Ledger Moreno, is here, and Mr. Keith Stickley, Mr. Tyrone Fleeman is here. Sorry, I just emailed Mr. Stickley on a criminal case. Anyway, Mr. Fleeman, what's the status here today?
Your Honor, I think Josie adjusted some of the late fees because I'm showing a balance 3,400 rent, 198.14, so slightly less.
Okay, so now I kind of think I know who's who. So the attorney is Fleeman. Moreno is the maybe property manager or assistant of sorts with property management, and John and Hacienda Farrell are potentially the owners of the property, and Mr. Rosario is the tenant. Okay, so it's like who's who and what's what.
3,598.14.
We got some
I think we had
variation.
too high of a late fee, if I remember correctly on that. So that's been adjusted. I have not, however, spoken with Mr. Rosario to see what was the outcome of his appointment with CAA.
Mr. Rosario, what's your position
That
here?
explains why he's so far.
Community Action has donated $1,000 towards the cause. I also spoke with Neighborhood Inc.
Is that like a herd donation? Have you received it, or is it just something they've pledged? Like which one? Like questions abound. Which one is it? Of donation.
I have not heard anything from them. I have gone to legal aid.
Meg.
They recommended. Oh, there's Meg.
Yep, there's Meg.
Yes.
When I spoke to them, they were asking if we can get this adjourned simply because of certain things that in my apartment that have not been addressed.
All right, well, we can do that. I can set up an escrow order and you can pay your rent each month.
That would be perfect.
If you've got issues that now.
Do you know what an escrow order means, dear sir? It means that you actually pay. If I go over here, this is better. You actually pay each time rent is owed. You don't withhold it. You hold it in escrow, and you have to pay until they finish whatever they've got to fix, and then the money's released to them. So how are you taking care of the rears? I don't understand. But anyway.
This is 403. Mr. Fleeman, you gave me some photos in the next case.
That's correct, yes, but I don't have anything in this case.
Not in this one.
No.
All right, so, well, let's parse this out. Apparently your rent is owed. what are the things, you hadn't raised this before, what are the things that you're concerned about in your apartment?
Pretty much in my restroom wall since November, mold has been growing in there. And now half of my bathroom wall is missing. Pretty much.
How is half of your bathroom wall missing, sir? Where did it go? Like, and how long has mold accumulated that now there's part of the bathroom wall missing?
I mean, Josie again is a great manager. I'm not denying that.
Really?
But I could actually show you behind me. That is the hole in the wall.
Oh my gosh, she's not
Right
lying.
Oh my.
And it's only gotten worse. And
okay, I had not seen this. I only saw up to the part where he said he was missing a wall. So I said, wait a minute, this is interesting. This is real. Because a lot of times what will happen is there'll be something that, well, I won't say a lot of times, but there is an instance where a person who is in the rears, a tenant in the rears, will have a piece of the wall or faucet or something inoperable, and they will not have reported it because one, they don't want to have to deal with having to pay rent, and then two, maybe they just now found it inoperable and it hadn't been inoperable over the whole period of time. But this wall situation, about half of it missing, it's falling down. It's not necessarily missing, but yes, it's true. He is definitely missing. The wall is definitely compromised, and I take back all prejudgments. I was wrong. I thought this was very odd for him to be missing a wall, but I am concerned that he's waited so long for this wall to be in this state to bring it up, because even Judge Middleton said last week when they had the hearing, he didn't mention anything of the sort. So this is not atypical for it to have just happened. I would think it has been happening considering the condition it's in.
I mean, again, Josie's but one woman, you know. Pretty sure she has a lot more buildings to
He likes
attend to.
All right, well, let's see where we
So
are
don't
here.
fire
Mr. Freeman,
her.
what's your thought?
Well,
Josie's getting fired if she was my manager, because we're not going to court on a case and a unit and you haven't checked it out before we go to court to make sure that we have grounds to go to court. Like, I'm gonna need you to make sure, Josie. I am, but she's a young lady learning on, hopefully she's learning. But for all those who want to be property managers, first, my units are concerned, don't have me go to court and this tenant turn around saying, my wall is falling. See, we can have those moments.
yeah, given, as you said, this is the first I've heard of it, I don't have any thoughts in terms of a response. I'm sure that's something we can get into immediately, and I'm sure Josie wants to deal with.
Like Alex is from everybody.
I don't know the whole backstory on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a blind side.
All right, well, one option is
I kind of thought I would have
enter
heard from somebody about that before now, but I did not.
Well, we could enter an escrow order that he pays May's rent and June's rent.
Okay.
Rent is $825 per month.
Okay. 16 something.
Is that correct?
50?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
All right, well, let's bump this out a little bit. Ms. Bauer has joined us. Ms. Bauer is here with us.
Ms. Bauer?
Thank you, Meg, for being here. Let's see what we got.
Meg.
I'm going to be gone a little bit in June, which is problematic, but this would bump us out to June 14th.
Oh, Your Honor, one of the reasons that we have not filed an appearance on this case is that we don't have, well, basically I'm out of town starting next week until just after June 14th.
Meg, where shall you be?
And we didn't have anybody that could step up. So if you can look into the next week.
I'm gone the 17th. That would take us
Oh, man.
I thought 17th was Juneteenth, but it's actually the 19th, but
That's right, 19th, June
21.
19th.
I was just
So
gonna
that
say,
takes,
Juneteenth is June 19th everywhere and all day. Okay, it doesn't matter what day of the week it falls on. June 19th is Juneteenth because that is the day that the last free or the last of the free African American or Black people were informed that they were free, which was 1 year after they were free, but we won't argue that. Just know the holiday is June 19th. Juneteenth is June 19th.
I don't have anything on the 19th. That's why I don't have anything on the 19th, I'm guessing.
yes. About the
You didn't know.
21st,
June 19th.
long way
It's
out,
Juneteenth.
8:45
Know this. Everyone.
on June 21. Now, you haven't raised these issues other than just orally here and showing us a picture of the terrible shape your bathroom wall is in. But I'm gonna enter an order that you pay May's rent, which we're in May, and we'll be into June, and you pay June's rent of $825. If you don't pay the rent, you don't get a hearing on these issues regarding abatement. It wouldn't say you pay no rent, but it could reduce the rent. And it needs to get fixed. It doesn't look good at all. And so is that agreeable with you, Mr. Fleeman?
That is, Your Honor.
All right. Josie, what do you know about this issue with this bathroom?
I was unaware the bathroom was that bad. I just looked through our work orders online that he can submit. The only one that I see on there was about a toilet leaking. So I was unaware that his bathroom was in that condition. So I'm actually going to be calling maintenance after this, and somebody will be there next week.
Good job, Joycey. Good job. You are redeemed. Joycey says, I looked on our, this is good. This is very good. All property management companies should do it this way. I know some are very old school, and that's okay if you're detailed oriented. However, having this type of platform where the tenant can go in and put in the necessity work orders or, inform property management of the conditions if they change is a great communication set because this gives accountability to the tenant. So now it falls on the tenant has yet to have informed anyone for whatever his reasons are. And this is not good tenants. So I've had tenants that have lived through mold and lived through major issues and not report them. That's a major problem because when there's an issue with rent, now all of a sudden you want to start talking about all the issues, but you have a responsibility as a tenant, especially in the state of California. I don't necessarily know about Michigan, but in the state of California, you have the responsibility as a tenant to inform the landlord there are issues. It's mitigating the damages, and you can't just let them grow out of hand. You can't just let it go. You do have to inform the landlord. But California is still a tenant proponent state. Like, they're very supportive of tenancy, and that's great. And we want everyone to have the support they need. It's just a matter of still, you have the responsibility of informing the landlord there's a leaky toilet, there is, mold, there is some concern with the wall, it's mushy, there may be water exposure, something's not right, ventilation's not right, whatever the situation, because the landlord has the responsibility of getting someone out there to fix those problems. And so good job on Josie. She's redeemed. She has a platform that allows the tenant to do self-reporting directly into the platform. And this is much better than the tenant saying, well, I called and I spoke to so-and-so. He is giving the impression that he spoke to Josie and he's trying to be nice about it. Like, she's great. I know she has a lot of different units to deal with, and that's no problem on her. I just want you to know that there's an issue with my wall, Your Honor. So that's very interesting, but just know what your rights are on both ends. Know your right as a landlord, know your right as a tenant, and the responsibilities thereof. You have the responsibility of communicating. And this is why, if you are in property management, you want to look into those different platforms so that the tenants can do automatic reporting, and you can cover yourself in court and say, listen, I'm looking at work orders. I have no request from this tenant. I had no knowledge. In addition to that, a good practice is if the tenant is 2 months behind, do a 24-hour notice to have a look at the property. Look at the property, determine if the property is sound, take pictures of the same, and then you start the process of eviction or, pay or quit that unlawful detainer. That way you can show, listen, they had not been paying. I did a view of the property. Property seemed sound when I went through it. So any damage that's been done is subsequent to that. And so they still owe those last 2 months rent, and whatever damage is now, it's new. So that would be this month, and we can deal with it now. Have evidence to prove in court, evidence outside of your word.
All right.
If I could please say something. No, I actually had a work order on the restroom since November of last year, Josie. And I did send pictures of it before it got that bad, when the mushrooms were growing out of the
we have mushrooms.
by the shower.
Oh Lord, we have mushrooms, girl.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're going to get at it. So by the time I see you next, I expect it will be repaired.
Psychedelic. Okay. So where did you submit these to? Because Josie said they're not in the.
And if there is an abate, yes.
My understanding is that when the upstairs unit showers, it sprays into Mr. Rosario's bathroom. So, and I do have evidence of repair requests from November 14th of 2023 and February 7th, 2024 with the bathroom issues. But I just want to make sure that Ms. Moreno knows that part of the issue involves the upstairs unit, since we're talking about making sure, getting it repaired.
Well, let's see if we can. All right, we will address this further on June 21st at 8:30 or 8:45.
Meg is the girl.
All right, thank you. Next is, I've got things mixed up. That's 2. All right, Mr. Rosario, you're good to go, but you can expect somebody to coming to your apartment next week to deal with this repair issue.
Thank you. And again, Josie's a great manager. I want to let her know that you are great. Okay.
Can't take it. The tenant is like, she's the best. She's the best manager in the world. She's phenomenal.
You're fine, Mr. Rosario. We'll be in there tomorrow.
Okay.
Good job.
All right. Have a good.
So don't.
As Paul Simon says, one man's ceiling is another man's floor.
True point.
Guess what? LLC versus John and Jacinda Farrell. John and Jacinda Farrell are here at the courthouse. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I always appreciate it that if you can't Zoom in, you come in. And frankly, I'm not afraid to have you here in the courtroom. I like having people in the courtroom, but we use this room because I can set up a private breakout room where you could talk with legal aid or the attorney. So that's why you're in the conference room rather than the courtroom. I'm in here by myself, which I seem to spend a lot of time alone lately, but that's a post-COVID consequence.
You're not alone.
Anyway, we were here on May 10th. We adjourned it for 2 weeks because you also were trying to get some financial assistance. At that time, we determined rent was $2,600 and costs were $253.28 for a total of $2,903.28 through May. Mr. Fleeman, what's the status here?
Your Honor, we submitted just earlier this morning a conditional dismissal that we put together with the Farrells. It was, I think I sent it in like 20 minutes ago, so not very long ago. I had sent it
Right.
yesterday to them and it wasn't in a format where both could sign, so I had to resend it this morning to two different email addresses, it turns out. I can't send two signatures to the same email address, I now know, through this program that I use, so I had to send two emails. But now I have that, and I turned it around and I sent it to the court. So I'm hoping your clerk has it.
All right, well, let's ask. Elaine, could you see if Mr. Fleeman's conditional order of dismissal in this case came?
You didn't know that.
And Judge, I sent it at 8:41, so very, very short
Messing with you,
notice.
Mr. Fleeman,
All right, well,
Attorney Fleeman.
that's fine. Email is a wonderful thing.
It is. This is correct. Yes, it is. Well, and these programs have gotten quite good. I use one called Dropbox, and I send it the document to people, and they're able to read it, look at it, and they can attach a signature by way of a phone or a email or computer, whatever. It's much easier to get signatures on, and it does a nice report at the end of it that shows when each person looked at it and signed it and that sort of thing.
Okay, so do not freak out. Anyone who's like, what? Of course, like it's so simple. You just send it. Like, of course, it's easy. Technology, so sweet, so easy. These attorneys and probably judge are like, what? Emails, no more faxes? Okay, great. And this, they've stopped there. Now he has learned how to send out Dropbox. He's learned how to get DocuSign together and whatever else, right? So he's like, now I can get signatures and it's like beta stamped, we got all the information as to when they signed, when they looked at, how many times they looked at it, Your Honor. This is great. That's like 90% of the attorneys in today's world are like, what? You can do what with technology?
So it kind of gives authentication.
I don't have to mail it.
Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, did you get some rental housing assistance?
No, Your Honor. I actually applied twice. I got denied twice. I was still waiting from the lady from Neighborhood Inc. to call me. She never contacted me. I called yesterday and I was on a wait of more than 20 minutes. And I could not stay on the phone any longer because I was at the unemployment office at the time. I still have not heard from her.
Girl, you about to get evicted. 20 minutes? Do you know I have been on the phone for hours and the other person has, they have their phone system has dropped me because I was on the hold too long. And you talking about 20 minutes?
But we came to an agreement, so I'm okay with that.
All right, well, let's take a look at it. Tyrone, could you email one of these to Meg also so she can see what we're looking at?
I can.
This conditional order of dismissal says the matter is dismissed without prejudice pursuant to the court rule. Defendant shall pay $425 for rents owed through June 2024 on or before June 1st. Defendant shall vacate the unit and turn in the keys before June 30th. Defendant shall not commit any other lease violations. It is further ordered that any money issues between the parties will be handled in the course of business pursuant to the Michigan Security Deposit Act. Meaning, when you move, you have to give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days and turn in the keys. Then they give you the security deposit notice. The security deposit can be applied to back rent, utilities, and other damage. If there is other money owed, they would institute a separate action to collect the money. If the defendant, it is further ordered, if the defendant fails to comply with the terms as stated above, the plaintiff may file an affidavit of default and a possession judgment, money judgment for all amounts paid for in the complaint, less any payments made after entry of this order and an order of eviction, which shall be mailed to the defendants. Meaning, if you don't pay the $425 by June 1st, they could ask for this. And if you don't move by June 30th, they could ask for a writ of eviction. Do you understand?
Yes.
And I've got your electronic signed signatures on here. And that's yours as well, Mr. Fleeman?
That's mine. Yeah, that's my real signature, but yes.
All right.
My
20.
wait a minute, Mr. Fleeman. Let's have a little class. This is their real signature too. Okay, just because they did it electronically doesn't mean it's not their real. But he means to say it's his wet signature, and their signature is probably something generated by the computer. But because it's date stamped and shows the time and stuff of authentication, they can't say it's not them per se, and they're not trying to fight it. They say yes, they do have the agreement to do as such. But it's interesting. Mr. Fleeman's like, that's my real signature, like my real one. It's in ink and everything, Your Honor. Trust me, that's the one that's on my driver's license.
4th day of May. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, but we're good.
All right, remember, you need to turn in the keys or give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of moving.
And I send that to Josie herself.
Okay, no wonder why she couldn't.
Yes, the management of the company.
Okay.
All right, now what I want you to do now is go out to the counter and the clerk will give you a signed copy of this order.
Okay.
All right, that leaves a lot of rent unpaid, but it is a resolution of the case. All right, thank you for being here and thank you for being here on time. It is early on a Friday morning. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I swear, Judge Middleton has to be a landlord. I don't know this to be a fact, but just listening to some of his responses and, and his ways, he's like, okay, well, oh, witchy in the heels here. Sorry. So he's like, well, okay, I'm glad you guys have resolutions. A lot of money on the table you're leaving there, but okay. He's concerned for the P&L, and I'm sure it's not even his property. He's like, how much loss is this money? Like, he's like in his head, like, oh my God, if I got this from my property manager, I would lose my mind.
Okay.
They just want him out, which is
All
interesting.
right, now I think that finishes our cases for this morning.
All right.
Mr. Fleeman.
June
June is a bit of a bumpy ride because I'm gone some of those days. So I believe.
Are we done, Your Honor? I don't know why she couldn't wait.
I'm actually gonna do some landlord tenant cases on Wednesday, June 19th. I don't usually do Wednesdays, but we'll see what comes up. Anyway, you're in good shape here. I'll see you next time.
Yep. Judge, it's what I always say about vacations. It's not time off.
I'll see you next. We'll see how. I don't usually do Wednesday. Landlord tenant.
I was talking. Hold on.
I'm actually gonna do some landlord tenant cases on Wednesday, June 19th.
So
I don't usually do Wednesdays, but we'll see what comes up. Anyway, you're in good shape here. I'll see you next time.
Yep.
Michigan, how is the courts open on a federal holiday? Just wondering. Just a question.
Judge, it's what I always say about vacations. It's not time off, it's time deferred. You have to make it up somewhere, and that's how it's gonna work. But, all right, thank you. You have a good weekend.
I'll be somewhere in time is where I'll be. So
who is that? Who is that?
Fishing. You're not
That line. I'll be somewhere in time.
We
Isn't
don't
that
know.
line from a song?
well, maybe it's a movie with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
That's what I'm thinking of. I knew it was some reference. Thank you.
The famous line in that movie is it you? Anyway, that's where I'll be, somewhere in time. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Beautiful. Have a good weekend.
All right, Ms. Moreno, thank you also.
Thank you.
Somewhere in the universe.
I think that's it.
All right, let's bring in Mr. Talbert. He's our 9 o'clock case. I haven't seen him in a while.
I don't know if
I don't want to rinse my detergent jugs before recycling them. So here's what I do instead. Did you know?
There's Mr. Talbert.
Good morning, Mr. Talbert.
How you doing?
We just moved somebody out and moved you in. That was a pretty quick turnaround. Could you remove your hat?
Sure.
Thank you.
You put it back on.
It
Judge,
is 9:02 a.m. This matter's set for 9. Let's see if anyone is here.
Judge Middleton, you're too sweet for this. Let the man put his hat back on. No, it's won't do that. That is a that's just the way the court is. You need to be in formal dress or at least appropriate dress, and a part of that is not having anything.
You forgot where you were. That happens to me all the time. I'm looking for a landlord tenant client or Angeline Rancour.
Gotta go rags, hairdos, hair, what do they call them? Scarves or whatever, they have to come off. So that's just proper etiquette of court. Or do.
All right.
I can comb my hair today. I'm just trying to get here. What a 9 o'clock case. You want me to comb my hair? Now he's working it out with his fingers. Come on, Judge. Where's the people? They're not here.
All right, thank you. Bye. Not here live. Angeline is coming home tonight. All right.
Is that another song?
This is entitled Jim Talbert versus Angeline Rancour. This is a building at 306 West Congress Street in Sturgis. Mr. Talbert's owned that house for some time. Rent is $8.89 per month, and the defendant was personally served.
Okay.
Mr. Talbert, what's the current arrearage?
Well, it's gonna be, if you include next month, it's $35.56.
Well, no, arrears does not include next month, but okay.
So it's through May only, because we're still in May.
Okay, subtract $8.89 from that.
889.
Again,
In fact, I routinely used to order the next month's rent. There's a split of opinion among the district judges.
okay, I can see that.
I used to do it to help people get financial assistance for the next month, but it got appealed by legal aid, and Judge Stutzman ruled I can't do that anymore.
Meg, did you
So
do
I
that?
have to
26.
stay the month we're in.
So legal aid appealed it. They messed it up.
2667 through May. Court costs are 110 and 156 or 5635, which is 16635 in costs,
You're not coming? Where's the lady?
equals 20083335 through May.
She's coming on tonight.
Today is May 24th. It would make the move out day June 3rd. Is she still there?
As far as I know, I think she's getting help. There's that neighborhood thing going on across the street here. We already
All right, so
filled out paperwork. I just gonna slip by there after we left here and see what's going on with it.
Okay,
So she may be getting assistance from Neighborhood Inc.
Yeah, they're supposed to, I think, pay up to 5,000, I think.
Well, all right, this problem may take care of itself.
all right, Judge.
Well, all right. Are you gonna ask for a default because she's not here? Mr. Talbert, are you gonna ask for a default?
As long as they don't make it any longer, yeah.
Well, it won't make it longer. The date would be June 3rd. Now, let me repeat, you've heard me say this before. You don't have to evict her on June 3rd. You have 56 days from today to ask for the writ of eviction. So once we get into June, it will be your other number. And because it is Neighborhood Inc., my preference would be to put June's rent in it. But I have a circuit court order that says I can't do that anymore, so she's gonna be another $889 behind on June 1st. But I'm gonna do an order that shows, in fact, you didn't bring a judgment, you used to do that. But I'd like to have a judgment so you can take it with you over to Neighborhood Inc. So Elaine, I'd like you to prepare a judgment for me in this case. The rent through May is $2,667. Court costs are $166.35 for a total of $2,833.35 due by June 3rd.
So this is where he shows how much he cares for both sides.
All right, now I've got about a 30-minute gap. I'm gonna try to do a criminal case
Right,
in the meantime.
we don't want-
Mr. Talbert, you go out to the counter. I'll have the clerk prepare an order that you were supposed to bring. But I want you to be able to take it over to Neighborhood Inc. so they can see it. All right,
Judgment next
Thank
time.
you.
thanks. I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
We know each other.
Okay, Meg, our next case isn't until 10 or 9:40. I'm gonna stop at live feed. I'm trying to do a criminal arraignment, except I haven't found my public defender yet.
I can just stop my video. You can put me in the waiting room. Doesn't matter to me.
All right, why don't you go ahead and stop?
Do you want me to fully leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut off the live feed.
Okay.
Um,
All right, judgmental stand. Hopefully the arraignment.
well, I'm gonna stop the live feed anyway while we wrestle with the criminal case. I may go back on for that. Next landlord tenant case.
All right, so there's, I don't know what else he said at the end, but that didn't matter. So that was very interesting. So as much as I think that Judge Middleton clearly has his landlord tendencies in his own thought process that gives me the thought that he himself is a landlord, because he's like, you know, you're leaving money on the table. You know, it's like freak days, but that's your choice. You want to lose money, that's on you. But sometimes it is one of those choices where it's better to just let it go and get them out so that you can get someone else in, so that you're not going back and forth fighting over rent, especially if you have to pay for an attorney. Their rents are pretty, in my opinion, because I'm in California, Southern California, they're pretty good. They're, under $1,000. Like you might find a room in California for $1,000 or so, or a vacation spot for a couple of days for $1,000 or so, but not a month's rent. So, I mean, not in Southern California anyway, maybe some other towns, but not where I'm at. So it's very good, in my opinion, to be at the almost $900 mark per month is what it sounds like each of the rentals for today were. But then, as you saw, he said, Judge Middleton, I want to help the tenant too, because helping the tenant get more aid will actually help the landlord to get the aid, and you'll be caught up in the rears and your current month, because you're right on the precipice, you're right on the cusp of the next month. That month will be cared for. I used to do that as practice, but circuit court says I can't do that anymore because legal aid said, no, don't do that anymore. And they took it to circuit court. And so now I can't do that anymore. And so now you landlords and you tenant are going to have to deal with June. So anyway, that was cute. He's definitely caring about his township. Judge Middleton is the best, right? He's one of our best judges that we love. So anyway, I'm Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate, and see you on the next video.